Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Abhijit. I'm a certified life coach and a mental fitness enabler. Today's topic is a very important one, and it's basically along the lines of understanding what mental fitness is, right? Now, just like how you have physical fitness, you also have mental fitness. Mental fitness is essentially the resilience and the endurance that you have to be able to face life, to be able to face challenges at work, in your professional and personal space, basically, right? And to be able to be resilient enough, or to tap into that inner resilience to be able to get to where you need to in life, and to be able to go through the challenges that you face in life. Now, of course, there is no formula to this, right? You could have the best of physical fitness and you could still get a sports injury. You could be the most fittest sportsman in the world and you could still have an injury in your leg that would stop you from playing for the next couple of matches or couple of months, right? Similarly with mental fitness as well, I would like for you to first and foremost acknowledge that there is no shame. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to have relapses in whatever it is that you're going through. You may or may not have, or you may or may not be struggling with a mental illness, but you still may go through problems and you still may go through challenges that break you down. Maybe you had a relationship issue, there was a breakup, maybe at your workspace you got laid off, or you got fired, or you've gone through trauma. Whatever it is that you're going through or have gone through, each of these experiences definitely pose as an opportunity to learn something about yourself. And in my own personal experience, I have come to understand the importance of mental fitness. Mental health is extremely important, and one facet to that health is mental fitness. And I hope that this actually contributes to your betterment and understanding towards mental health education. So you're not alone. It's going to be okay. It's really fine. I'm glad you've tuned in to watch this video and to listen to the audio. And let me walk you through 5 very important tips, right? So the first step towards furthering your mental fitness is to acknowledge your feelings, right? Don't be ashamed to reach out. Okay. Many a times you probably can't even put in words what you're experiencing. And many a times you're able to. Suppose you fall in the first category where you're not able to actually put into words what you're experiencing, but you're feeling something that is weirding you out. It's making you struggle. Please reach out to a loved one, or please take help. I'm happy to share helplines or resources along that line. Feel free to reach out to me personally. I can put you across to people, or I can also see what I can do from my end to my best. See if I can be a friend, be a supporter. But acknowledge your feelings first. Accept if you're not feeling okay, right? Suppose you go for a long run. Physically, you have a nice jog, a run. Maybe at the end of it, or after a really long workout, you don't feel so great. Right? So you want to just sit down, take a deep breath, relax, and take things from there. This is just like that. It's just a stopgap. Sometimes you need to actually sit down and listen to your body and mind when they're telling you something, right? So acknowledge your feelings, okay? Seek support. That's the second tip. So only if you accept you're going through something that you don't have control over, you're not able to understand, acknowledge those feelings first. Tip number 2 will be to actually seek support, right? Seeking support is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of great strength. You don't have to be ashamed to reach out, okay? And this takes me to tip number 3. Please prioritize self-care, not just physically, but also mentally, because physically, if you get hurt or, there's a bruise or something like that, it's tangible. Tangible meaning you can actually see it. So this watch, for example, I can actually see it. So if it cracks over here, I'll know physically I can see it. But if there's something going in your mind, no one can read your mind. No one can see what you're going through. It's likely that someone who's been through a similar experience like you may be able to sense something is wrong with you. You know, when someone comes across you and asks you, hey, are you doing okay? You seem a little dull. that's actually a good sign that someone is actually noticing something. So please make sure that you prioritize self-care. There's a lot of nourishing that's required for the body, for the mind, and for the soul, right? And the fourth tip is to challenge negative thoughts. So I personally believe that meditation isn't something that you do sitting on a mat for 30 minutes a day. It is a 24-hour process, right? So if you're someone who is into meditation, I think it's a beautiful thing, beautiful process. And that's one way to challenge negative thoughts, where you sit with yourself and you try to empty your mind, you try to fight it. Ideally, you shouldn't be fighting those thoughts. When you're trying to empty your mind, it's about actually acknowledging that those thoughts are not you. Thoughts are not facts. And that is going to go into my next point, but just touching base on this, your thoughts are not facts, right? It's gathered data from all around you. And this is something that I talk about in my life coaching practice. And, with a lot of humility, a lot of yogic practices actually cover this in detail, that thoughts are not facts. Psychology also covers the fact that thoughts are not facts, right? So what you're thinking many times, the negative thoughts, they carry a lot of energy, right? And very powerful energy to bring you down. They make you feel bad about yourself. And that is where something like meditation comes in. Very therapeutic process, just to sit, center yourself, and allow your mind to be emptied. The other aspect is cognitive behavioral therapy, cognitive distortions. So essentially, it's best that for both meditation and CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, that you work with a therapist on this. Again, no shame reaching out to a therapist. It's always wonderful to reach out to a therapist. It can be a little intimidating initially, a little scary, because there's so much stigma around mental health. But believe me, you challenging that very stigma and reaching out for help is already you acknowledging your feelings, tip number 1, seeking support, tip number 2, and prioritizing self-care. You've already ticked these three boxes if you've reached out to a therapist, right? They will then be able to actually help you understand how certain thoughts, negative thoughts are affecting you. So one negative thought that affects a lot of people is this black and white thinking, that either I'm all in or I'm all out. They don't look at any in between. Or there are people who say everything that happens around me is my fault, or their fault rather. So these are certain distortions in thinking. So a therapist who can actually work with you to understand what it is and how it is hampering your growth, right? So that's one aspect to it. The fifth and most important point is setting small and achievable goals. Okay. And it is for this tip that someone like me can actually come into the picture as a life coach. So where I can come over here is I can customize a plan for you, personalize a plan for you, to help you, further your mental fitness. So a set of exercises that you do every day, irrespective of how good or bad you feel. It's just like this. You have a good day or a bad day, you still show up at the gym to lift weights, right? If you want to achieve a certain level of fitness with your physicality, your gym instructor will say, you're having a good day, you're having a bad day, you come and you do your fitness. Like, there should be no compromise on that. With mental health, it can be a little more challenging sometimes because it's not tangible, right? It's like air. So you won't be able to see muscles build up in your mind. But having said that, a lot of the exercises that you will do for your physical health, or that you do for your physical health, can, by its very tangible nature, help you get to where you need to. With respect to mental fitness, the next time you actually have, or you're encountering a similar issue, you would be surprised that all the practices that you had been doing before for your mental health actually have come to your rescue. It's a beautiful realization that you will have at some point. So setting small achievable goals that help you boost your confidence, small victories, little steps, right? This is where I come in. And I'll be like your accountability coach. a buddy coach in one sense, where I'll actually personalize a plan specific to your issues. Whether or not you're going through a mental health issue, I think, rather a mental health illness, simply reaching out and taking the steps for it is super crucial. And at some point, if you're not sure, you're reaching out to me, you've not been to a therapist before, I'm also happy to refer you to one. But yes, setting actionable goals, right, is crucial, and I can help with that. So just to summarize, acknowledge your feelings. That's tip number 1. Seek support. Tip number 2. Prioritize self-care. Tip number 3. Challenge your negative thoughts, which is tip 4. Set small achievable goals. Tip 5. Right? I'm happy to help work with you on this, and I genuinely hope that your mental well-being and your fitness furthers. Please remember that I'm here, I care, and you matter. I'm putting my details in the description below for you to check out. You can reach out to me and we'll take it from there. Sending you loads of healing and positive vibes, and I genuinely hope that the mental health version of that 6 packs ends up growing on you someday. Take care of yourself and speak soon.